This is the Beta85X with a decased GoPro Hero6, and in this video I'm going to show you how to tear down the GoPro, fit it into the light enclosure, and get super smooth footage with Real Steady Go. I'll be using the HD kit provided by Beta85, which includes everything but the GoPro. You get the GoPro Lite kit, which includes the BEC for powering your camera. It has a mode and record button, and I'll be using version 1.1. The enclosure uses this TPU backing with a carbon fiber faceplate, and the Beta85X comes with a TPU mount as well as a plug to power the camera. Now, before you tear into the GoPro, you need to make sure you're on version 1.6. If not, follow the link in the guide below to download it. It's as simple as copying the firmware to a microSD card and powering the camera. This is to get the best result with Real Steady Go. Next, make sure you're using the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi band so as not to interfere with your 5.8 GHz FPV system. And finally, you need to pair the camera to your phone. You'll be removing the display, so this is the only way to change the camera settings in the future. Don't worry though, you can always reconnect the display if you lose your phone. Be sure to skip the camera upgrade option because we want to stay on version 1.6. Once that's done, turn it off, remove the battery, the microSD card, and the side door. Now let's remove the lens cover. You might be able to just twist it off, but I need to give a little nudge. I used a pair of tweezers to pry up on both sides, and that was just enough to twist it off. So this next step is the most difficult. There's a thick bead of glue around the front display, and I put a microwave heat pack on it for about 10 minutes, and that did the trick. You can even turn the camera on and let it record for 10 minutes to soften the glue from the inside. Once you've done that, you want to get some sort of prying tool. I used a 5-inch prop, and I was able to get it right between the display and the lens here, and it sliced right through all that glue. Keep in mind that there's a ribbon cable below the display, but you should be able to pass directly over it. Once you've cut all the glue, you should be able to pull the front cover right off. What finally did it for me was pulling from the corner around the lens. Some people break the front cover during this process, so I was lucky to get it off in one piece. Next, you need a T4 Torx bit to remove the 6 screws holding the main board. Carefully wiggle the main board out, but be very careful not to break the ribbon cables connected to the back. These are for the rear display and the battery. There are 4 connectors that need to be removed, and you can just use some tweezers to lift them off the board. And now you're done with the rear display. Some people take it apart to get the buttons and mic out, but you don't need them. Now you need to peel this electrical tape off the back of the main board. I ended up breaking it, but that's fine. It's just an anchor point for the front display. There's another piece of tape to peel off the back of the camera sensor. That also broke, but that's fine as well. Now you can just pop the front display cable off the bottom of the board here. I just used my fingernail. You also want to disconnect the USB-C cable. Now pay attention to this part because we've got some hidden screws to deal with. The first one is pretty obvious, but there's another one hidden under this little ribbon cable. Just pull the cable straight out to get to it. Remove the USB-C connector, and there's one more hidden screw holding the black bracket in place. Take that out as well. Finally, we've got 4 more screws holding the main board in place. Remove those, as well as the black bracket, and carefully pop the camera sensor off the main board. You don't want to damage this. Now, you should be able to remove the main board by wiggling it out under the camera sensor. And here it is. This is what we're after. You can buy these boards on AliExpress, but I think it's just faster and cheaper to buy a used Hero6 from either Amazon or locally on Facebook Marketplace. They go for anywhere from $150 to $180. So let's clean a little bit of this compound off and get the camera sensor and lens out. So we just have one last screw under the camera sensor. It's at a bad angle, so you'll have to find just the right screwdriver to reach it. Once that's out, you can remove the sensor and you're done with the teardown. These 2 parts just weigh 17 grams and they're all you need to make the GoPro Lite. Now let's put it back together. Start by snapping the sensor back onto the main board. Now you can take the BEC board and it should snap right into place on the back. The version 1.1 board doesn't require any shims, so it's a little easier than the original. Now you need to put the board in the TPU cover. The trick here is to pass the ribbon cable through first and stretch the TPU over the top corner. Then you can push along the top of the TPU until it snaps over the last corner. It should go on pretty easily. Be careful not to pop the BEC board off the back. Line up the power connector with the hole. Then you can flip it over and seat the main board into place. Double check that you can press the buttons on top, and let's prepare the screws. We won't be using all of them. I used 3 of these wide silver screws for the board. They don't need to go in very tight because we've still got the carbon fiber cover and 6 more screws to button it all up. Carefully slide the carbon fiber board over the standoffs for the lens and use 4 of the long black screws to secure it. Now the kit came with this TPU lens ring, but I printed an alternative that can take an ND filter for the Mavic 2 zoom and offer a little more protection for the lens. I found the print on Thingiverse, and you can find the link in the description. Use the long silver screws to secure the lens. Screw them down so that the plastic of the lens is flush with the standoffs on top. The bottom of the lens may not sit completely flush with the carbon fiber, but that's okay. And finally, we've got the TPU cap for the back of the sensor. Start by covering the ribbon cable, and the rest of it should snap right into place. Just don't force it. Now let's see how we did on the weight. 28 grams. The Hero 7 weighs 115 grams, so we saved 87 grams. That'll let you mount this on as small as an 85mm quad. And here we have the Beta85X with the camera and a full-size TBS antenna, 101 grams dry and 169 grams with a 550 mAh battery. So Beta FPV has made some changes to the design of the system over time, and now they're including this updated camera mount. It has vibration dampening built in and seems to work really well with Real Steady Go. I don't think any additional soft mounting is really necessary. So I've got the 4S RDQ 525 mAh battery and the 4S GMB 550 mAh battery. I found that the GMB gets slightly longer flight times, but they both work well. Now to run the camera, you plug in your battery, wait for the red light, press the mode button, and wait for the 3 blinks. Then you can start recording. Sometimes it'll seem to start recording after you press the mode button, but that's not right. You still need to press the record button, and usually twice in that case. Sometimes it'll just stop responding no matter what you do, and in that case, it's best just to power cycle the quad and start over. Finally, you need to press the record button one more time to stop recording. So I purchased this cheap set of ND filters and strongly recommend using something like this for lens protection. It was a bit of a challenge getting the lens adapter to fit just right, and I found that printing at a very fine detail level helped. It's still a snug fit for the filter though. So this is Real Steady Go. It does an amazing job of stabilizing the footage, and I'd just like to give you a quick primer. After you load your video, it'll automatically detect a couple gyro sync points. GoPros have a gyro, and the data from the gyro is recorded to a gyro track in the video. Here it's matching that track to the video. You'll see 2 green arrows to indicate the gyro sync points, and from here you can trim the video, hit save, and you're done. But before you do that, you might want to double check the gyro sync points. You can click them and hit adjust. From here, it'll repeat just a few frames of the video in a loop, and you can move the slider around to check if it was a good sync point. If the video gets bumpy at either end of the scale, it's a good sync point. If the video doesn't change much, then you might want to delete that sync point and find a spot where it's got some more jumpy data to work with. Here's a much better spot. There's all sorts of jitter. You just need to put the playhead at the spot you'd like to create the sync point and press the Add Sync button. After that's done, you can double check and make sure you've got a good sync. And if you're using the Hero 6, you only really need 2 sync points. Apparently, the Hero 5 only needs 1, and the Hero 7 needs 1 every 15 seconds, so it depends on the camera. And finally, we've got the Advanced Settings window. And I never really touch anything here, but you can lock the horizon if you've got a mostly level flight, and after that, you just hit save. If you do trim the video, it'll cut out the audio, but for this camera, we don't even have an audio track. Now here's the final product. So it's just amazing what kind of footage you can get out of something that weighs only 170 grams. On a 550 mAh battery, you'll get about 3 to 3.5 minutes of flight time. And here I'm flying in acro mode with a fairly low camera angle at about 15 degrees. You can fly this both indoors and out, but you'll need lots of practice to fly it indoors. Since this is designed for kind of dreamy cinematic footage, you'll probably want to set your rates pretty low. I've got mine at 467 degrees per second across the board, but it's certainly capable of fast, snappy flight. You might struggle to get a good result out of it doing that though. Overall, this is a pretty easy way to get started capturing cinematic footage. The result is great, and the build process isn't too bad. You just need a little patience opening the GoPro and a few extra dollars to spare on Real Steady Go. So there are a couple caveats though. The camera no longer has a mic, and the Wi-Fi antenna has been compromised. To make changes to the settings, you'll need to hold your phone pretty close to the camera to get a response. You don't have a USB-C plug anymore, so you need to remove the microSD card every time you want to copy the footage. And finally, it's a lot more fragile. The case does help, but I wouldn't put it on a freestyle or racing quad. You might as well leave the GoPro whole if you want to put it on anything 3-inch or larger. This is best for a slow-moving micro quad. All that being said, I love it. I can't wait to put it on a micro DJI FPV quad or even a long-range cruiser. The footage looks great and it weighs next to nothing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please drop a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye.